Welcome back students of class 4 to your e-learning class. This is as you know it is your science class. So in our previous class we are discussing chapter number 8, adaptations, how plants survive. Okay. So today I will be also discussing this chapter. Today I will discuss from aquatic plants and their adaptations. I will be discussing from there. Aquatic plants, this is from page number, you can follow page number 47 in your science book. Okay. Aquatic plants and their adaptations. Aquatic, this means, what is the meaning of this aquatic? Aquatic means water. So the plants that grow in water, they are termed as aquatic plants. Water. So it is water plants. Okay. So aquatic plants are of three types: floating plant, fixed aquatic plant, and underwater plants. So aquatic plants are of three types. They are three types. They are: number one, floating plant, floating plants. Number two, fixed aquatic plant, fixed aquatic plants. And last one, the underwater plants, underwater plants. Okay. So let us read floating plants. What are floating plants? Some plants like water hyacinth, Wolffia, Pistia, and duckweed. So I can write the example: duckweed, that is Pistia, others are there, etc. They float on water. Adaptations: how are these adapted? These floating plants are adapted in water. Number one, some plants are of small size and have light and spongy bodies. Number two, stems are reduced and roots are not well developed. And number three, leaves have a thin waxy coating. Now coming to fixed aquatic plant, this one I will discuss now. Fixed aquatic plant. Some plants like water lily and lotus. So I will write the example: water lily and lotus. These are all fixed aquatic plant. Okay. They are fixed to the bed of the pond. Adaptations: they have hollow and light stems that keep the leaves and the flower afloat. So they are having the hollow and light stem because they have to float. They are floating on the water. No. So they have hollow and light stem. Number two, their leaves are broad with waxy coating that prevents them from rotting. So leaves are having waxy coating. Now next page, page number 48. Okay, page number 48 now. Leaves have stomata on the upper surface to breathe easily. So leaves are having stomata on the upper surface to breathe easily. We know stomata are generally present in the lower surface of the leaf, but here the stomata is present on the upper surface of the leaf. And number four, their roots are fixed to the bed of the pond. Now coming to underwater plants. Some plants like pondweed, seaweed, and tape grass grow and remain under the water. So underwater plants are, example, pondweed, seaweed, tape grass also. Pondweed, seaweed, tape grass, they remain under the water. What are the adaptations? They have long ribbon-like narrow leaves. Their number 2, their leaves arise in clusters from the roots and do not have any stomata. And number 3, they breathe through their body surface. So these are the adaptations of underwater plants. Now there is one MCQ there. So I'll be solving the MCQ now. MCQ you can find on page number 48. MCQs. Number 1 MCQ. Tick the correct answer. Number 1, which of the following plants has broad leaves with waxy coating? Which of the following plants has broad leaves and waxy coating? Number A, water lily. Number B, pine. Number C, cactus. So what is the answer? It will be water lily. Water lily. Number 2, dash has no stomata. Options are tape grass, mangrove, lotus. So which has no stomata? Tape grass. It is an underwater plant, so no stomata is present. Tape grass. Okay. Now some other adaptations. Some other adaptations. Same page, page number 48 you can follow. Page number 48, I am writing it again. So plants with thorns. A number of plants like rose and bougainvillea have thorns which protect them from animals. Plants with poison. So plants that have having poison. Many plants like poison ivy have poison in them. This keeps the animals away from them. If we touch poison ivy, our skin starts itching. So remember, poison ivy, this is a plant that is having poison in them. So if you touch them all of a sudden, the skin will become itch. The skin will itching will start. Okay. Next coming insectivorous, very interesting one. Insectivorous plants. Some plants like Venus flytrap, sundew and pitcher plant are carnivore. So insectivorous plants are Venus flytrap, sundew and pitcher plant. They are carnivorous in nature. They eat insects, so they are called insectivorous plants. So I will write here insectivorous. Insectivorous plants. Pitcher plant I can write. Sundew I can write. Okay. Okay. So plants like Venus flytrap, sundew and pitcher plant are carnivores. They eat insects, so they are called insectivorous plants. They have special leaves to trap insects. Venus flytrap has hair along the edges of the leaves to catch insects. In pitcher plant, leaves are in the form of a pitcher with a lid. In the form of a pitcher. So pitcher plant means this way. Suppose this is a pitcher. Okay. So pitcher plant is just like there is a flap there. When the insect goes into, the leaves fall there. Okay. And traps the insect. Pitcher plant. Okay. Okay, this one. So in pitcher plant, leaves are in the form of pitcher with a lid. When an insect sits in the pitcher, lid shuts down to trap the insect. You can find this there's a very interesting plant, this insectivorous plant. Now coming non-green plant. Some plants like coral root and Indian pipe do not have chlorophyll. So name two plants that do not have chlorophyll. They are non-green. Indian pipe and coral root. So they are called non-green plants. they cannot make their own food, they absorb their food from remains of dead plants and animals, so they are also called saprophytic plants. So they are also called saprophytic plants. Okay, because why they are called saprophytic plants? Because they absorb their food from remains of dead plants and animals. Okay, now coming to plants of the grass family. Okay, now coming to plants of the grass family. Plants of the grass family. We'll learn this one, plants of the grass family. This is page number 49. You can follow page number 49 in your science book. Plants of the grass family. Many plants of the grass family are useful to us in many ways. Number one, plants like wheat, rice and jowar provide cereals to humans and animals. Number two, we get sugar from sugarcane plant, we know that one. Number three, bamboo plant is used for making brooms, baskets, mats, etc. Bamboo shoots having high nutritional value are used to prepare dishes in many parts of India. Number four, a grass called papyrus was used to make paper earlier in Egypt. So a grass called papyrus, this was used in the early times in the Egypt to make paper. Dried grass is used for packaging. And last one, roots of these plants bind the soil and help in the conservation of soil. So these are the plants of the grass family. There are some are using as a cereal like wheat, rice, jowar. We get sugar from sugarcane plants. Then bamboo plant is making bamboo plant is used for making brooms, basket, mats. Then a grass called papyrus, this is earlier used to make paper. It was first used in Egypt. Then there is a dried grass which is used for packaging. Then roots of these grass family plants, they are they are very useful for the soil because they conserve the soil. Okay, so that's all for today, children. We have completed the chapter, this chapter number 8, adaptations, how plants survive. A very interesting chapter, very interesting chapter. We have learned the terrestrial plants and the aquatic plants and the usefulness of some of the plants from the grass family. Very interesting. You will go through the chapter, you study at home and go through the chapter well. You will find very interesting one. So till then, goodbye to everyone. Thank you.